You're doing it again. The thought that keeps looping in your head, the one that you can shake, the one that feels small but somehow takes over your whole day. You tell yourself you shouldn't be thinking about it, yet you can't stop. And somehow you feel like it's your fault, but it's not. It's just your brain trying to protect you. It's trying to prepare you, to prevent mistakes, to keep you safe. And have you ever noticed how it always seems to find the next thing to worry about, even when there's nothing urgent? Think about the last time your thoughts just wouldn't stop. Maybe you kept replaying a conversation in your head, going over every word, every gesture, thinking about what you should have said. Or maybe you imagined every possible outcome of a decision you already made, and somehow each one felt worse than the last. Sometimes it's little things, a message you didn't reply to, the conversation you had with that one girl at school, but your mind keeps spinning it over and over. You start thinking about the future, the past, and things you can control, and suddenly your brain feels like it's running a marathon you didn't sign up for. Maybe you try to focus on something else, a game, a video, perhaps even a hobby, but those thoughts keep creeping back. Does that ever happen to you? Like last week, I couldn't stop thinking about a text I sent to that one girl from my high school, and it literally ruined my focus for hours. And by the end of the day, it leaves you tired, not because you did too much, but because your mind wouldn't shut up. Sometimes it even feels unfair, like your brain is working against you. But here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with it. This is just what overthinking feels like, and almost everyone experiences it at some point. And while it can feel overwhelming, understanding why it happens can make it a little easier to manage. By the end of this video, I want you to see overthinking in a completely different way. Your brain isn't overthinking because it wants to torture you. It is doing it because it learned one simple rule: more thinking equals more safety. At some point, your brain figured out that replaying things, analyzing them, and running through every possible outcome could help you avoid mistakes. So now, it does that with everything, even when there's no real danger. Have you noticed how your mind starts working overtime the moment when something feels uncertain? That's why it keeps asking, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I mess that up? What if something goes wrong? Your brain thinks that if it stays alert, if it keeps you worried, it can protect you from getting hurt again. But here's the problem. Does your brain actually know the difference between real danger and just feeling uncomfortable? So a text, a conversation, a small awkward moment, your brain treats it like a threat. It starts looping thoughts, replaying scenarios, imagining worst-case outcomes, not because something bad is happening, but because it wants to make sure nothing bad does. And the more you think, the more your brain believes it's doing its job, which is why telling yourself just stop thinking never really works, does it? To your brain, stopping feels unsafe. Sometimes overthinking doesn't even feel loud, it feels heavy. Like your body is tired, but your mind refuses to rest. You're not panicking, you're not freaking out, you're just stuck. Your thoughts keep circling the same thing, again and again, but none of them actually lead to anywhere. You might be sitting there scrolling, gaming, watching something, and yet you're not really there. Part of your attention is always somewhere else. Have you noticed how it's hard to fully enjoy anything when your mind is busy? Even when nothing is technically wrong, it still feels like something is unfinished. Like there's a problem you need to solve, but you don't even know what the solution is. And by the end of the day, you feel drained, not because you did too much, but because your thoughts never gave you a break. That's one of the hardest parts of overthinking. It exhausts you without leaving any visible proof. Here's a small shift that can change how you see overthinking. Most of the time, thinking feels like you're solving something. Like if you think just a little more, replay it one more time, run through one more scenario, you'll finally get an answer. But notice something, does overthinking actually solve the problem, or does it just keep your body tense? Because when you're overthinking, it's not just in your head. Your shoulders tighten, your breathing gets shallow, your chest feels heavy. That's your body sending a signal. Something just isn't right. And your brain hears that signal and thinks, okay, think more, stay alert, don't relax yet. So the loop continues. Thinking isn't fixing the problem, it's responding to a feeling of being unsafe. And that's the tricky part, because a lot of the time there's nothing you actually need to figure out. There's no hidden answer, no perfect response, no final thought that suddenly makes everything feel okay. Your body just hasn't gotten the signal that it's allowed to rest. Have you ever noticed how the thoughts calm down after you finally feel safe? Not after you think harder. That's why forcing yourself to solve overthinking rarely works. You're trying to think your way out of a feeling. So if you're overthinking right now, there's nothing wrong with you. Your brain isn't broken, you're just human, with a brain that learned to stay alert to protect you. And sometimes the most helpful thing you can do isn't to figure everything out, isn't to replay it one more time, isn't to force your thoughts to stop. Sometimes it's just letting yourself be there, letting your body breathe, letting the moment pass without needing an answer. Because you don't have to control every thought to be okay. You don't have to solve everything right now. Some things are allowed to stay uncertain, and that's okay. If this video made you feel even a little less alone, I'm really glad you stayed till the end. Take care of yourself and I'll see you the next time.